Hi, Andy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Good. I wanted to ask a little. This is kind of something that Andre asked Adrian after the game, but I wanted your perspective as well. The team gave up. You're playing well. The game's kind of in control at 2-0 against Chicago. You give up the goal, the first goal of Chicago, and then all of a sudden you have to have a reaction. As a leader, how do you think some of the younger players who maybe haven't seen that at this level handled that particular moment where the game's going well and then something happens?
I think we've actually had that situation several times, just throughout the start of the season, and obviously it's something we've discussed, um, as in not wanting it to get to the point where someone provokes us and we have to respond.
Hmm.
I think we've done that really well, and we've showed that several times, and many different combinations of players have done that and showed that we can do that. So I think that's something that we pride ourselves in, and I think it is a way that teams should like fear us, is that we'll figure it out and we'll get it done.
Hmm.
But at the same time, how can we also strengthen that, okay, it's 2-0. Let's get a third, let's get a fourth, and really close out the game rather than make it a little bit more dramatic. So that's something that we're discussing as a team and looking to improve upon. But yeah, I think it demonstrates like we're down for a fight and down for it for the long haul of a game, not just in a moment. So I think yeah, the team responded really well to that.
And thinking of this game in Portland, obviously it's a different challenge on a lot of levels. You've got no, not to shade Chicago on a Wednesday, but there's a difference between what you're getting into atmosphere wise there and going to Providence Park, probably a large crowd, a team that started to maybe turn it around a little bit themselves. How I guess I don't want to say how ready is the group for that challenge, but maybe how much more ready is this group today for that than they would have been, week one, week two?
That's a really good question. I think that it's hard to prepare people for the atmosphere of Providence Park, um, because it truly is a special place, and um, always so consistently strong and has been so for so many years. And I think we've played, like, obviously Audi has been great with attendance and energy and environment. But that's also been in our favor, and it's a little different to go somewhere that is so vehemently against you. But I hope, we'll obviously we haven't really discussed much yet because we've played on Wednesday,
Mhm.
traveled yesterday. Um, so we just trained there this morning. And it's great to train there and just imagine it full. But hopefully we'll talk about it a little bit more throughout the day. But it's from my perspective, like it's fun to play the villain sometimes. And
Mhm.
um my perspective of it is like Portland has amazing drums and band, and obviously it's like for their players, but I'm like, oh, you don't know how good this, like how this is working against you in a way. So hopefully, or like when you score in that stadium, it goes dead quiet, and it's such a contrast from how they are the whole game. um, so yeah, I'm just really excited for us to experience that, and we need to experience that. And I think the team is ready. I think we played in a bunch of different stadiums, environments for us, against us, small crowd, big crowd. So it's just another piece of the puzzle that we want to be able to perform from us anywhere, any environment. So I'm excited for us to have that test. I think everyone's ready. I think everyone prepares in the most professional way and is always just focused on their role, their job, our team. So I'm really excited for us to do it in front of a big crowd.
Appreciate it. I'll pass the microphone here.
Ella, go ahead.
Hey Andy, thank you for being here with us. Not to make you look back too much, but how after the way that Orlando game ended with, like you guys getting Hatch's goal at that point in time and then pushing late, how big was it to get that result against Chicago to start this road trip in terms of, a response to everything that happened in that Orlando game?
Yeah, definitely a tough game that we weren't our best. And I do think there were moments in the game that we also handled that really well, although the result in the end wasn't what we wanted. But I think even though this kind of is a tough stretch where we had to turn around and play Chicago, and then now we're turning around and play Portland, I think, again, it was kind of like the best case scenario where it's like when you have a bad game like that, you want to go back and play immediately because you're just so eager to right the way that you feel wronged. And so I think it's been interesting in a way because we haven't had time, the same amount of time that we normally do to digest one game and then process the next opponent. They've kind of merged where it's like you only review what's going to really apply for the next game because each team is different. But yeah, I think again, the team has handled the first turnaround well in the response to the poor result. And so now it's like, okay, can we build and get another result? Did I answer all of your question? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate it.
Andre, go ahead.
Hello, Andy. Thanks for speaking with us. I had a kind of a bigger picture question overall about the team and its progression. We've kind of seen, and of course, some of this is just due to opponents that you face, but I think we've also seen the team kind of do well in some games without the ball. We've seen do well games with the ball. Now we're starting to see more through balls, getting behind the line. Kind of how has the progression felt from your perspective with the team, and kind of what are some elements that you're hoping the team can get towards in the future? I say very near future, maybe not this weekend, but soon.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun to find success in different ways. And like you said, like finding success with the ball and maybe having more of the possession versus maybe having less of the possession and being successful just in defending and shutting things down and maybe faster attacks. And it's been really cool to see a team that is so quickly adaptable. Like I mentioned the tight turnaround, and it's like a lot of this time, you don't get like the trainings that you normally get to prepare where you're seeing things on the pitch and playing it live. Like maybe you get a walkthrough or most of the time with this type of game week, it's just meetings. And there are many ways to learn in soccer. And I feel like most soccer players are not really always meeting oriented people. Like they're more like visual and want to get, their feet on the ball and see it in space. So I've been really impressed with people's ability to apply information on a short term and, just through meetings or through condensed training weeks. And even things that like in the Chicago game, even things at halftime or in all the games where when we get information at halftime, how quickly we're able to utilize that. So I think it's just been fun because the more versatile we are, the more unpredictable we can be and the harder it is for teams to prepare for us. And yeah, so I'm excited that's what I see for the long-term, short or long-term future is that we're going to continue to just be so versatile that there would be no way that a team could prepare to shut down all our options.
Appreciate that. And yeah, thank you. I also wanted to talk a little bit about or ask you about Trinity Rodman getting her first goal. I know like that stuff, it's probably more of a thing behind the scenes. We don't see too much. I know we heard her, say, I think post game that it was like she's like relieved to finally have gotten it. I know that she's obviously a key player. Obviously, seems like she's always kind of going to have an impact. But when you're changing a style, it feels like in order to really like bother every opposition, you really need to get her scoring. So how kind of important was it to finally have her mentally get through that? Okay, first one's out of the way.
Yeah, I think it's, again, something that, like you said, is kind of like floating around maybe that, okay, we're a few games in and this amazing goal scorer like hasn't scored yet. And I think now the floodgates are open. Like that's how I feel. It's like, okay, now, she's been, that's the tricky part is like, she's been contributing to our success in so many other ways that that in itself is very impressive, but obviously like Trin is Trin and wants to be scoring goals, and we want her to be scoring goals. But I also think all the chances she creates, the assists, the fouls she wins, the way she helps us in attacking transition, the way she works back to defend, causes problems, like all those things in itself are in her season already have been incredible. So now for her to get her first goal and maybe just that mentally being out of the way, I just feel like, yeah, it's only gonna take off, and just again, she's going to continue to do all the amazing things that she was doing before, and she's going to continue to work to score goals for us. And you know, hopefully more like dancing celebrations, because I know she loves that, and the fans love it as well. And so yeah, just super excited for her. And she's, you know, you knew it's coming. She's been scoring goals in training all the time, and I think sometimes with soccer, when you want something so badly, it cannot come as quick as you want it to. So glad the first one's out of the way, and she'll continue to score for us.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's more dances, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Peyton, go ahead.
Hi, Andy.
Hey.
Looking at kind of this week for you guys, you had that midweek stop in Chicago, and I was wondering if that makes things feel more manageable going coast to coast, not having like that big long haul flight and things being broken up time zone wise as well, even when you are having that extra game, or kind of your thoughts on that from your perspective, not like science wise or anything that you've been told.
I feel like with that, there's always ways that you can spin things in your mind in your favor. So there are pros and cons to it for sure. Like you said, playing another game and maybe having another late night midweek and not getting a full night of sleep can be difficult. But I think, again, being able to play a game and just kind of have quicker, smaller adjustments to change the rhythm can also be refreshing. And yeah, breaking up the flight is a little nice. So yeah, and for me, it's nice when I'm already tired after a game to get the travel out of the way, because it's like I'm gonna be shot and exhausted anyway, so I might as well be withering away on a plane, or I should probably say like re-energizing on the plane, but recovering on the plane. You know, if you're going to be like sitting and resting, so might as well waste that time on a plane. But yeah, I think the cool thing about this group and like the support and the resources that we have is like we have people that we can go to for support. So if you're feeling good or if you're feeling not so good, you can talk things through, and we're not all doing the same things, whether that's with our sleep or with our travel, or we're all doing what we need to do and being trusted to do that and have the tools to apply whatever we feel like we need is best. So yeah, for playing a midweek game, like I feel pretty freaking good, which is nice. So excited to play tomorrow, which is a great way to feel when you're, you know, at the end of a tough stretch, or middle-ish end.
Okay. Would you feel it's safe to say then that like you're really having, or the team environment is really taking a personalized approach to dealing with this setup for every different player?
Sorry, boss just walked in for a second. Would I say that the team is taking a personalized approach?
Like, yeah, like as the environment is being personalized or tailored to each of your needs to try to get the most out of you, or what's best for you in this scenario.
Yeah, I think for sure. The staff does a great job of like educating and empowering us, and like sometimes we're doing things together, just whether that's for like energy or camaraderie, or it's like there's something that they believe will definitely benefit all of us, and then other times it's like, hey, these are your options, come take and do what you need. So I think that especially when you're on the road a lot, you need those elements of freedom and those elements to feel like you can shut off, because it just, as much as we love being together, we are like, this is our workplace. And so it can be hard when you're on, I don't think this is something that's talked about a ton, is like, it can be hard when you're on the road for a long period of time, because something as simple as like going to a designated meal time is like, you're on because you're with your coworkers. And as much as like amongst the team, we're friends and everything like that, sometimes it's just nice to like go home after training and leave work at work and go home. So I think the personalized approach is really important. And I think that's, you talked about like the scientific side of things. And yes, those are super important, but I think our staff also recognizes the mental component, is flexible with that. And so, yeah, they're really trusting us to do what we need to do. So hopefully that pays off tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thanks.
We have time for one more quick one. Jason, go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to make this a quick one. It is kind of maybe an open-ended one. Andy, I was wondering about, we've, over the years, I feel like you've said the phrase midfield rotations in press conferences a whole bunch. And I'm thinking about Croy and how seeming to already come in with a lot of knowledge as to how they play as a combo. It seems like they understand each other really, really easily. For you being in like as the third person in that trio now, has that been easy to fit in with, or are you having to sort of figure a lot out to get on their wavelength quickly?
What does it look like?
I feel like it's gone pretty well. But I don't know. I'm not out there. I can't keep up, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it like that. I think they, like you said, they have obviously a good relationship and have known each other for a long time and play really well together. I like to think, again, maybe this sounds like, I'm trying to say it in a way that doesn't sound like arrogant. I feel like I'm really good at playing with a variety of personalities and adjusting to people quickly. And I enjoy that part of the game. And so if they've got a little duo going, like I feel like I can hop right on that duo and join in on the fun. What I've really enjoyed about both of them is that they're telling me what they need. So yeah, if they have a good chemistry going, I need to get on their wavelength. And they have both let me know when I'm doing something that is not on their wavelength and needs to get them the ball better, earlier, quicker, differently. So I do feel like I would say that it goes both ways, obviously. There are things that I see that I want them to adjust, and there are things that they see that they want me to adjust. And I think we're doing a really good job of communicating with each other and listening to each other and doing what each other asks. So it's like, it's honestly been really fun and fun for me because they're challenging me to be better and get more in a flow with them in a way that helps our team. And I'm hopefully, helping them notice things that maybe they didn't notice before, or that at details that at this level can make a big difference. So yeah, I think it's been fun, but you're right. I guess I got to pick up my wavelengths a little bit.
Oh, I didn't mean it critically. If it came across that way, it's my bad.
I didn't take
more
it that
more open-ended. Okay. Appreciate it, Andy. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Andy. We will be right back with Adrian Gonzalez.
Thanks, everybody.